It should be, and thank you for welcoming me.
No
Obviously, my first T1 cast with the self-proclaimed greatest OCE talent we currently have, so
I don't know about self-proclaimed. I don't know where you got that one from, but I'll take a compliment when I get one. Big game for Outlast because they started the stage so well, but they started to taper off a little bit. At one point they were first, I think, through the first 3 play days, and they were 3-zip. Things were looking great, and since then they haven't actually won a game. Now into 5th place, and social media not giving them any chance against the Kings of the region. Yeah, I don't think they have much of a chance today. Unfortunately for this first cast, I think it's going to be quite one-sided. But in saying that, I think those first 3 results for Outlast were definitely needed with an asterisk on the side. They beat Antic, they beat Supernova, Circular Spheres, teams that are really struggling at the start of the season. So I think now this is definitely the time for them to bounce back. They need to secure that playoff spot. I think they're just about in. But yeah, definitely need to build a bit of confidence coming into those playoffs. How do you treat this game if you're GAIMIN Gladiators? Because obviously for Outlast, they're not exactly an odium. In fact, I keep ripping on you about when you say bogey teams, but this probably is actually more of a fit description of a bogey team where you can't go into this and just treat Outlast as if they're like an odium. You know that they've had some really good form this stage. We saw some of the numbers, especially ACOG with some really high EPS, great KD on the entry, is a bit of a young gunner and having a great stage. So you got to kind of lock in, but I feel like GG, just the kind of team that is so professional, they'll just treat every game, whether it's Odium, whether it's Chiefs, the same.
100%, 100%. And I think most of the teams in the region this stage, barring Odium, unfortunately, are those kind of teams where you do need to lock in. We saw today Supernova really took it to Chiefs, who we consider the second best team by far in the region. So yeah, exactly what you said. GG need to go into every game, considering them to be tough opponents. And yeah, I think this is going to be... Well, we've already got Yentai out of the lobby. So.
Lovely stuff, Yentai, through the ban phase, which should still continue. Don't like the fact that Wedables' camera's just frozen mid-drink as well. He looks like he could be having some internet issues as well. We saw actually double shield ban, the Blitz and the Montang, as we do complete the ban phase, as Army and Valkyrie to make way. What's your take on the shield meta? Of course, your time is done, and when you kind of finished your time, the shield ops weren't as prevalent. So you're kind of glad you're not playing in this meta right now, the things you're watching?
Yeah, I think so. I was never a big fan of the shields. I actually thought they were quite strong even before the buffs, or what were considered nerfs when they were first announced. But in saying that, I think I wish they were in the game when I was on Kelton's Knights, because then we might have won a few more attacks. We wouldn't have finished last. But yeah, I'm a bit on the fence with it. I think, as a player alluded to in that last interview, if you can't just force the shield, you definitely need to understand how to play around it, play the win conditions, and some teams are much better at that than others. Prodigy, for example, very good at that.
Yep.
And yeah.
See the Turtle percentile of bans attributed, and yeah, no surprise to see Montang Blitz very heavily banned out. It's a lot of the times one or the other, but in this case it will be both. As Army, Valkyrie still very strong operators, and what feels like Valkyrie has been in the ban category for at least forever, probably at this point. Even if you think back to the old days when you used to be able to throw the Valk cams outside on a map like Consulate, it actually used to be Valkyrie's probably best map.
Yeah, so many windows to spawn peek from, and those Valkyrie cams gave so much info. Obviously now
can't do that anymore.
Unable to throw them outside. But in saying that, still it's such a strong operator. Generally, if Valkyrie is on the board, you're forced to bring that IQ just to go find that info. Obviously not needed now with Valkyrie out of the map.
So GAIMIN Gladiators attacking here into Consulate first up. Outlast will bring the Fenrir, Warden. Intriguing little operators to probably suggest that they'll be somewhat aggressive in this round. We do see the Striker as well from Brendo. Sentry and the Striker certainly do get thrown out every now and then.
Yeah, we've seen a fair bit of Striker on this map from GG. Obviously their first play day, they played against Supernova in what was Tuhan's first game for the new org, and obviously their first game under the new org, where they seem to struggle a fair bit on these attacks. Supernova doing a really good job of denying those entries and forcing pressure from outside the map. Looks like GG are a little bit more confident coming into this map, definitely taking a bit more map control early.
Good kill for Bailey with the Nitro Cell. Get through to Fisher, guy who's having a very prominent stage so far, flourishing in, I guess what you could say, a new role where he's calming more and he's got more freedom. But he does lose his life early on the Grim, which does mean, of course, no Kwan Hive launcher. Default gets eventually taken out by Brendo. A little struggle, but a good start for Outlast. And honestly, I think that's one thing you need to do against these top teams. And in this case, the top team we've ever had really in this region. You can't fear them, but you got to respect them. Still, you need to be somewhat aggressive where you possibly can be. Don't change too much. If you can go for an early Nitro, sure, go for it. Spawn peaks, go for it. But you just got to be aware of the fact that they're going to be switched on.
They are, but you need to ask questions of them. Obviously, they're still human. They will make mistakes. And if you ask, the more questions you ask, the more mistakes that can be made. But you can't expect them to make mistakes if you don't force any pressure.
Breaching charge deployed.
Not too many teams have beaten them in this region since Carlton Knights. It's certainly something you can hang on the mantle, Vinny.
Yeah, my highest achievement, playing for Wildcard, qualifying for Invite, but I did beat Bliss once.
Did beat Bliss once. Minute to go in this one. Peek towards surface, and Brento's going to lose his life. Stuck in the corner. Bailey gets out and gets the down. Doesn't get the kill. Has already used that Nitro Cell, of course, getting the initial kill onto Fisher Guy. Bailey expecting maybe a bit of pressure to come from managers. But so far, a decent start from Outlast, holding good positions, not overplaying their hand. A little aggressive, but not overly.
And Tuhan still holding this position in managers, making sure that his teammate can safely get resurrected, and he is.
Oh, that's
Bailey.
a risky cross. Now he finds himself stuck on the left side, but there is one on the right side as well to maybe help out. Does get back, though, safely. 30 seconds. Not a lot of time remaining in this round.
And now push is going to come to shove. We get the jump in from Sage into bathroom, looking to find a pick. Late in this round, will take the first gunfight, but get taken out by ACOG. It continues on.
Not long to go, and now down to 2 for GAIMIN GLADIATORS, and it's actually the Vulcan canister burnout onto Brendo, who was low on health. Tuhan, the last one up, and Outlast actually very strong, stalwart in defense to begin this game on Consulate. There wasn't much of a look in that particular round for GAIMIN GLADIATORS. Not often we see them stalled out like that.
No, definitely not. But yeah, Outlast doing a very good job of just putting a bit of pressure on early. That C4 onto Fisher Guy was huge. Obviously those Grim canisters, very important in clearing out power positions on that site. Unable to be used once Fisher Guy was out of the round. And from there, yeah, just able to hold these power positions really strong. Obviously Sage having to take a bit more of a risk there, trying to get the pick onto ACOG. And ACOG just cleaning up, I think, with the 3 or the 4K by the end of that round.
Very, very good player, having a great stage. I think in that case, Sage was almost swinging for the doorway. It doesn't clear hard left, and he's just kind of tucked in. He did get a... what I would imagine a technical pause. I don't think anyone's calling attack after round 1. Certainly not Outlast. So a little technical pause after the conclusion of the first round. It's certainly going to be, I think, a longer day here on the OCE League than what we got, say, yesterday. But honestly, for GAIMIN GLADIATORS, it's only one round. You can see the smiles on Fisher Guy. They look like a pretty relaxed team, I think, most of the time. They're not going to fret. They know that they're also not invincible and they're going to just 7-0 everyone. They know they're going to lose rounds here or there. It doesn't really faze them.
There's so many variables with Rainbow Six. Obviously, stuff like that can happen. Fisher Guy getting C4'd basically 30 seconds into the round. Can't really be avoided unless he takes a bit more care on that window repel. But again, it is quite random in saying that. I think the best thing for Outlast right now is to get as many defensive rounds as they can, because when it comes to attacking, they have struggled a little bit, specifically with both shields banned. They're not going to be able to rely on that to get a few free rounds.
Well, just to kind of highlight for those maybe tuning in first time or since a while, Outlast, of course, came out guns blazing opening Playday, taking out Antic, a team that many think highly of in this region. 7-4 back in Playday 1, followed it up very nicely with a win over Supernova, who we know have been there amongst, you know, with Pinku's performances and President, etc. Like, they're not a completely awful team. They won that 7-4. Got a 7-4 win over Odium, which is turning out to be kind of the, I guess, par for the course. The big issue came, though, last week when they lost to Circular Spheres, 7-0. It's a really weird stain on their stage where it's been largely good, but that just is so left of field. They followed up with then a 7-4 loss to Prodigy, a game in which certainly felt 50-50, but they just couldn't handle Dave Shields.
Yeah, definitely not. I think those Circular Spheres and Prodigy games probably outline just how close that mid-pack is at the moment. Obviously, we think Chiefs and GAIMIN GLADIATORS are well above the rest, but that mid-pack has been fighting it out. And as I said before we started, I think those first 3 results for Outlast should be given with a little bit of an asterisk. Obviously, Supernova, Antic, just building their way into the stage now. They looked pretty not confident in their abilities going into the first few playdays.
Sometimes it can be when you get them. And a great example is Carlton's Knights Playday 1 against, at the time, Bliss, when they were still boot camping up in Queensland. That was the best time you could get them. And as we know, when they then returned, it was like a whole new roster, a whole new team. And I think maybe when it comes to Antic, if they had played that, say, like Playday 6, Playday 7, could have been a very different result. In saying that, for Outlast, well, of course, GAIMIN GLADIATORS tonight. And then next week, it's Chiefs. It's a rough way to end the stage, certainly not a good way to kind of build form going into the playoffs, unless you find successful results, in which case then it's the perfect platform. The good news for them, though, of course, they can't finish bottom 2. They've got 9 points. They did so after 3 playdays, so they can't finish bottom 2, which means they will play playoffs. But it's a matter of what damage can they do? Can they take on those mid? Can they get revenge on a Prodigy? Can they get a revenge, while you would hope so, on a Circular Spheres? We'll see. Back into this one, out of the tech, and into the game we go again. 1-0 for Outlast. A long, long way to go, but if they have the belief, anything can happen. And you were right as well, Vinny. 3 kills for ACOG in that round.
Yeah, great round from him, and I think that round is going to be very important for them. I think any defensive rounds they can get, hopefully more than half, I think that would be the par for the course. If they can get half, possibly they can go into that attacking half with a bit of confidence in their ability. But again, it is GG. We spoke to Sage last night. He said no matter what map you take us to, we know how to play it. We know how to play it well. And it's going to take a lot for Outlast to get over the hump today. It's
an interesting prospect when it comes to map vetoes, especially best of ones. It's always a bit of a gamble. But I guess in this instance, because GG is so good on every map, you have to pretty much just back yourself in on your map choice and say, look, we really rate our consulate. We like it. We're just going to go there and hope for the best. And that's probably the best attitude, because you're never really going to say, oh, what's GG's worst map or second worst map? What's in terms of their order? Opening kill, Relays, 200 just running around, and he loses his life. Good start again for Outlast. It will be 2 times in the opening 2 rounds that they got the opening kill.
A little bit early on the jump in there, not waiting for the drone to come back through admin. And it will result in him losing his life. That's the second opening pick for Outlast in 2 rounds. Again, something very important for them. I think that's going to be the way that they propelled this half.
You think about what the Ash can do as well, taking out, say, the mirror windows with a breaching round and the importance of even just Tuhan in general, who right now feels like the best player in the region. So it's a big, big kill for Outlast to begin this second round. And Relays doubles down, 2 in this round. And Bailey with another Nitro Cell kill on Fisher Guy.
Yeah, he can't catch a break today. On the one map where there's so many windows, Bailey's been able to find him twice with that C4. Sajon's going to jump back in, spark him again. It's a nice shot onto Ned.
Just
now move towards the front office area and we'll get his life taken by ACOG.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the brothers are still up. Maybe there's a chance. Brendo was playing towards Spiral, but couldn't help Sage over towards Long, and now finds himself in a 1 versus 4 and a very dominant round from Outlast. Started with Relays on the Oryx, running around top floor, catches 2. Bailey finds another Nitro Cell kill, and that was essentially the round then and there. Sage, of course, gets a nice kill, but yeah, it's not often you see Gaming Gladiators get just completely decimated in a round like that. Sure, they can lose rounds, and it could be a bit scrappy, but yeah, fairly good start from Outlast here.
Brendo will find 1, back onto Bailey. Brings it back to a 1v3.
Can't count him out. Oh, big battle, bot Spiral. Brendo wins it. Yentai goes for the 1v1 in anticipation of trying to get the trade as quick as he possibly could. 1 holding yellow stairs. Movement though, Relays gives his position away on the Oryx. So Brendo knows where 1 is. He has to go get the kit before making his way down yellow.
Yeah, Relays, I think picking the right option there to fall off. Start playing this crossfire bottom floor. It doesn't
look
look
like clear him. Surely someone's got an angle from below here. He can't get this plant into piano. Surely not. Pulse should be able to get this done. The plant doesn't happen because that Nitro Cell got ripped. Brendo, off the sound cue, is quick, but not quick enough.
Just not quick enough. I'm surprised that actually killed him. That was a bit of a pretty far away of a C4. But ACOG, once again, proving to be the difference maker in these rounds. Playing the win condition very well after 2 of his teammates fell. Relays, able to get the 2 opening picks and the C4 through the vertical onto Fisher Guy.
I mean, we might see it again here at the replay, but I actually think that Nitro from ACOG is thrown in the direction that Brendo ended up running into, and so therefore, that's why, because if he had thrown it where the plant was going down, I think Brendo maybe gets away. Probably end up watching it here, but you can see the way so he goes right side, throws it a bit to the left, so yeah, he's basically running kind of towards that direction, hence why it catches him. Really good Nitro Cell from ACOG, and in the end, a second round found for Outlast. A little bit sweaty towards the end, because Brendo does Brendo things, but ultimately, they now get to go basement of all sites as well to try and find a 3rd round in a row against Gaming Gladiators.
Yeah, can never count Brendo out, but just look on the side of GG. They have 4 kills between the 5 of them through 2 rounds.
10 seconds to go.
That's not a great start if you're trying to win rounds at the moment. ACOG already up to 5-0.
It's going to be their first change-up when it comes to the attacking lineup as well for Gaming Gladiators. So we saw a lot of the Grim, the Dockerby, the Ace Ash, completely switched it up now. And maybe because of the site choice, and they can go and get Piano and Expo control, use the Boogie Auto breaches. You've got the Skeleton Key as well, open up the floorboard. So could indicate, especially with the Jackal and the Nook, clear, get Vert, play off of that, and try and then corral them down towards basement.
Yeah, just mitigating the risks on this roam clear for sure. That Jackal and that Nook seem to be very indicative of the game plan this round. Obviously the Ram as well, able to get vertical without actually having to be inside the building. or really putting yourself in danger. Brendo will find one already down yellow.
That's aggressive, and
Making
actually
his way
towards
into side.
Garage, he's just feeling as if this is going to be open, that they're roaming up above. This is nicely done from Brendo. Can he get more, though, on the Jackal? In fact, Fisher Guy's being able to follow in as well with the kit. So he's in Garage. 2Harm finds the kill onto Yentire, who was lurking above on the Vigil, and they've just got full site control. There's certainly been some kind of information found from GAIMIN GLADIATORS in this round to suggest Outlast had a huge amount of numbers up above, and they just kind of slipped in towards site. And once you get that initial kill, you know, pushing in from yellow, you've already cleared one guy holding site. If they're playing a roam game above, you know there's not many here.
Yeah, and it wasn't based on the op picks. Obviously, we were talking about how they're about to roam clear, but obviously found the opportunity on the site. We spoke to Sage again last night. I asked him if this is the sort of the game plan they want to be moving into towards playoffs, and he said, yeah, definitely. It's not going to be that super fundamental all the time on their attacks. They want to find the opportunities and capitalize on those. I think Consulate is a great map for that as well. A lot of space that can be taken on the attack if it's not occupied by defenders.
Just wonder, it's the kind of round, you know, when you go up against like a GAIMIN GLADIATORS, they're so due diligent, they're so professional and structured, and they play the right way. Is that the right way to just kind of send it down yellow in towards Garage? Brando gets the kill. You play off it perfectly, absolutely, but I don't know if Outlast would have been anticipating that kind of aggression from a GAIMIN GLADIATORS.
No, and it makes them terrifying, doesn't it? Because I think at one point, especially when they were still Bliss, one of the things that I picked up with Fisher Guy's IGLing was that sometimes he was a bit slow to adapt. And it looks like now with the inclusion of Wettables and probably Sage in the calling department, looks like they're moving way more towards sort of this opportunistic style of attacking on the rounds. And it does make them a lot scarier because, as you said, you're waiting for them to sort of clear your setup. You move things off-site thinking that this will be problems for them, but if they just dodge it, then it makes it very easy for the attack.
It's been a fast-paced start to all of these rounds. No opening kill after the 2-minute mark, so everything before the opening 2 minutes, which probably speaks to Consulate, Repel game, Nitrocell chances, spawn peaks. Certainly by no means super surprising, but the big thing is, though, whoever does get that opening kill is so far converted at 100%. It is only 3 rounds. It is a small sub-sample, but something to consider.
Definitely, yeah.
Little change up as well for Outlast now as they do bring the Tachanka. Thoughts here, 4th round. Is it the right time to be bringing this out?
Definitely understand the game plan. They're anticipating a default plant inside CEO just on that window. It looks like Fisher has already set up there again as well with the Grim and the kit. This possibly was the plan. Probably a good read from Outlast, but how do GG work their way into the site now?
Relay's droned out over towards yellow. No real map control for GG, which would then lead to believe, can you clear util, get in quickly? But that will be difficult if he can't get rid of this Tachanka. We've also got the smoke to deal with as well, and Bailey, 3 gas babes available. But I reckon they're just going to hit all at once and hit fast.
Fisher Guy opening up Vert underneath the plant spot that he's about to jump into, which is quite interesting. Looks like Brendo was already set up on the comm window as well.
He's going to throw track stingers down there, maybe? Deny the ability to play directly below? Could do on the gridlock, minute 20. Candela was thrown in from Wettables. Fisher is still opening up with the shotgun. Brendo towards yellow. So at least some kind of position inside of the map right now for GAIMIN GLADIATORS. They haven't really got a whole lot of it, mainly just 2Harm and Brendo. Anyone found? Not necessarily, and he can actually just push in towards the side room, and a double kill found for GG. No surprise, it was Fish that got one, and now can plant in CO. And suddenly, they've just been able to hit all at once, 3 kills. Good kill back from ACOG, but plant down in a position that is so difficult to retake.
Yeah, we've highlighted ACOG as the best player on this team so far, but it's going to take a lot for him to win this 1v4. Lots of power positions taken up by GG, so a fair bit of utility on the board, and Fisher's going to finish it off. What looked to be quite a slow round towards the end. It looked like they were stalling out a little bit. Came with a very fast execute, and perfectly executed in the end by GG.
Yeah, one of the slower rounds that we've had. First kill came at the minute and 5-second mark, so certainly just kind of playing the site that was there. We go back a little bit here on the replays, and Wettables was certainly a nuisance, but it was Brendo that eventually just goes up yellow. No one really prepared for that, no one watching that. I think they were too focused on the Repel and over towards default, and yeah, once they got a little bit of site control, Fisher gets in, no one could deny. Round just goes the way of GAIMIN GLADIATORS, and they found themselves a second. We're all tied up heading into the 5th round. So a great start from Outlast, absolutely, in the opening 2 rounds, but subsequently unable to win then the next two.
Yeah, and I definitely think that last round highlighted what's so good about GG. What we probably saw as stalling out was probably them checking all the boxes before going for that execute.
Oh, they repeat as well, which is very intriguing. Back over to CO and meeting.
Yeah, probably understanding that if that's the way that GG want to attack this round. I think we've seen two different attacks, though, on this site so far from GG, so we'll be keeping Outlast guessing on where they want to plant. Looks like with the setup, they're defaulting back to their initial clear. Unfortunately, that did end in a lost round, but possibly just trying to fix up a few of those mistakes from that first attack.
Yeah, I mean, so far, again, small sub-sample as we head into the 5th round, but the successful rounds for Outlast have come from their more aggression in the early rounds, finding opening kills, getting GG off balance, you know, taking out a linchpin like a Fisher guy as early as you possibly can with those nitro cells that we saw from Bailey in the opening 2 rounds. You deal with the Grim, you're just dealing with Fisher in general. So you're very much disrupting their attack. You think about then the next 2 rounds, no disruption at all. GG are able to play the positions they want to play, execute the way they want to execute, get their game plan working. So if I'm Outlast, 2 rounds to go, it's all about how can we disrupt them. Bailey, this position in the hallway, trying to see if he can get one towards main entrance is probably a good position because it's all about that risk versus reward. Can you get that pick? Can you offset them? If not, well, we tried.
And yeah, Fisher got retaking this position again on the CEO window. On the Grim. Seems to be his favorite operator so far. Can get a lot done with this character as well. Brendo looking for a nade from top yellow skylight. I don't think that's going to connect. Possibly just dealing with a bit of utility. Gets rid of the bulb.
Relay's doubling down though. This is aggressive to then just retake it anyway. Does deny position last time out in the previous round. That was kind of the position in which Brendo was able to just push in and get quite a lot of space. So I think from Outlast, their perspective is if we can try and deny that, we can keep more pressure towards default. Oh, there's a headshot. Brendo lurking. Maybe expecting the fact that it had been cleared out. There wouldn't be anyone kind of re-aggressing into that position. They did lose Yentire. 4 versus 4. Most importantly, you've got good position control Outlast towards top yellow.
Yeah, but Tuhan snuck his way through managers into this vending hallway. Obviously has a shield to deal with on ACOG. But if the timing's just right, he might be able to sneak his way into the site.
Good smoke up the hallway.
Looking to just cause a bit of distraction and falling off. Wettable still has his position in piano, but Bailey will take out Fisher guy on the window once again.
Yeah, that's a big kill. That's going to be Kit as well in a tricky position, so someone else has to now go grab that, play the repel. I think you probably don't even have time to really go for that more default approach. It will be a case of just, can you try and get control, top yellow, push in, get the kills necessary, but a great angle from Bailey. Wins the battle against Sage. There was a second player here. Was Bailey ready for it? It was a little jiggle peek, but he does find the contact with Tuhan both. Very low on health. Relays coming up, though, from Yellow. He made his way down towards basement and back up to the top, and it will be a 3rd round acquired for Outlast. Wettables, though, Skeleton Key in the back of Relays. He does have the diffuser. He went and reacquired it. 12 seconds. Steps through the smoke. One spotted at the pillar. Bailey loses his life, but ACOG will not. A little nervy again at the end of that round for Outlast, but they will win out and retake the lead.
Yeah, still continuing on your point. They're putting themselves in good positions when they're playing aggressive, not allowing GG to take this map control for free. We saw once again Brendo dropping that yellow skylight, instantly contested by Relays, and Relays is able to win that fight. It's such a big pick for Outlast. Just completely disrupts that attack. And 3-2 lead for Outlast. Huge.
So just looking at the changes, you know, when a team loses a site and then they double down and say, we're going to go back there, we're going to fix it up, and you kind of look at what changed up. So they got rid of the Tachanka.
Yep.
Figured probably either didn't have a big impact or it was too much focus on one condition. And they bring in the Wamai and the Warden in place, along with the Mute. So they dropped the Fenrir, they dropped the Malusi, they dropped the Tachanka, and they just kind of went a bit more bunkered down, play the whole objective, not just one approach. Certainly works a lot better. It was, though, for what will be the first round that a team got the opening kill and didn't win the round. That was, of course, a 3rd opening kill found in a row for GG. Subsequently, though, they do lose the round. We head to basement to close things out. Outlast looking for a 4th round here on Consulate. And we will see the Scopos. This is definitely early days, but the site in which we have seen a very high pick rate.
Yeah, it's an interesting operator, isn't it? We haven't seen a whole lot of it so far on other maps, but yeah, as you mentioned, on this site in particular, definitely one of the favorites. We've seen it a little bit on Clubhouse as well. But in my opinion. Hasn't been used super effectively so far.
Teams are figuring it out.
Yeah.
I think it's a kind of operator that looks easy to play at first glance, but it's got a higher ceiling than you might realize.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with any new mechanic on a new operator, it becomes a bit of a challenge for players as well. You get caught in you know, playing the same mechanics over and over again. It can be a bit different.
We've seen a couple of players kind of leave it in its default position actually in basement here, which is facing towards like yellow, and if you aren't wary of the fact that someone's taken that position and you transfer back, it's like an easy kill. So you got to be very careful moving into a good spot. You also have to understand where you kind of put it. A little bit of a hunt here. Relays, I think he is being hunted down. Ned also at the top floor and shot through the wall too, Han. That's disgusting.
Definitely needed because it looked like Relays was going to get away, but great shot from Tuhan there. Relays on information from the beginning of that round, basically. Just trying to force a bit of aggression. GG able to deal with it pretty effectively. Almost half the round gone.
It's a very similar lineup though from GG in terms of this clear. Last time out they hit site directly, though this time the clear is coming through and coming through very effectively. Ned from top floor back down to bot yellow. Scopos got dealt with. Relays also lost his life, and suddenly GG in a great position to find a third round to close the opening half.
Yeah, and Outlast currently bunkered down on the site, allowing GG to take as much map control as they need. And the game plan from here is fairly simple. I think it's going to be getting vertical from piano down onto site and hopefully getting that external wall open. Looking for the plant around the car position. Can Outlast do anything to sort of contest that? Doesn't look like they're super keen on it yet. Brendo clearing a bit of utility, bottom yellow stairs. Now looking into the side, hits a nice shot onto Yentire.
Beautiful shot. That's the Scopos outline, by the way. Don't get too confused. I got a little bit confused in our previous game. ACOG in a 1v5. He will fall. It's flawless from GAIMIN GLADIATORS to close out the opening half. 3-3 here on Consulate, which I think is a very fair scoreline for both teams. It's been very competitive from Outlast, but now they will have to go into the attack and be even more competitive if they're going to get attacking rounds against GG.
Yeah, and it's slightly worrying. I think they probably needed one more defense in that half to really be competitive in this match. From what I've seen so far from Outlast throughout the stage, a little bit shaky on their attacks, seem to lack a little bit of direction. And especially against a team like GAIMIN GLADIATORS, who understand the win conditions of defenses so well, can be very tough to break down. And yeah, just that last round from GG, it is quite terrifying when they can either rush the site or full clear and basically flawless both rounds. They definitely have the ability to do both.
Seven and 3 for Brendo. Sage 4 and 4. Not just the Tuhan show tonight, even though it has been for a large portion of the stage. Yentai, unfortunately, 0 and 5. Ned 1 and 4. ACOG, Bailey doing the heavy lifting, especially ACOG 7 and 3.
10 seconds to insertion.
Ned onto the Deimos. A very aggressive looking lineup now for GAIMIN GLADIATORS. The Mozzie, the Pulse, the Castle. He will be roaming. He will be on the move and forcing Outlast to have to clear them out.
Yeah, this looks slightly like a Consulate of old lineup back in the day when I used to play it. Definitely trying to contest those entries. Obviously, the windows play such a big part in this map, but denying entry is basically the most important thing on these defenses. Perhaps looking for a run out with the Pulse. C4 into Visa. Already has 2 on scan. Probably indicating to his team that this is going to be an admin across push.
Has been droned though, so if you've got good comms, Outlast should be able to know where he's located, what he's been able to scan. Can be certainly commed over. Not too easy, but certainly does kind of lose a little bit of that effect now on the Pulse, where it's like it's not a secret.
Yeah, it does, and even from the attacking side, them knowing that it's going to be an admin across doesn't completely nullify the push. I believe they're still going to go for that side of the map. Does mean that they're going to be quite wary of C4s coming up through Visa. As we can see here, Bailey going to a more safe position. And has info on the Pulse downstairs. It's a great drone.
Great drone. You can see him in the camera as well, comming that. Does eventually get shot out. Red ping intel. Over towards Visa. Brendo. Yeah, jabs out now from Relays. There's one close left, and that is a poorly timed vault, and Brendo will capitalize. Fortunately, Ned, though, able to follow up quickly on the Deimos. Does get the response needed, but very low on health. 13 HP remaining.
Yeah, but they're also aware of this Pulse basement. Yentai is able to find one more near sight on Fisher Guy. There is only 2 on site right now. Tuhan's probably going to struggle to get back up. Sage looking through to vending hallway. I'm not going to see anything.
Just needs to keep this long desk control, keep top spiral under control. Big power position on the map right now for GAIMIN GLADIATORS, still holding there. Ed playing below. He might go a bit more passive here, low on health. Rogue grenades thrown out, 1 death mark remaining. Right now tracking Tuhan's position. Yentai finds a second one. For someone who had no kills coming into this round, he's now found 2 very important kills to maybe find an opening attack round for Outlast in the half. 4 versus 2, down to Tuhan and Wet.
Sejon getting a little aggressive there, looking for a pick. Obviously 4v2 now. Puts a lot of pressure on Tuhan and Wettables. A lot of control taken here from Outlast. Wettables is able to find the first.
Oh,
and
he
finds
got the second!
Gets traded with ACOG. Puts Tuhan in the 1v2.
Tuhan is tracked with the death mark, so they know where he is. Straight in towards meeting, and Ned able to finish off. Low on health, well played from Outlast to close that round out. Good drone work, good information, played off each other well. Dealt with the pulse so incredibly well that game.
Yeah, really impressive. It'd be very easy to overlook droning the basement for that pulse, but it seemed like they were pretty aware that he was down there. And then from there, I thought after this pick from Brendo, it was quite scary. Brendo doing a good job of covering his teammate, going back down to the basement, and then, yeah, once again, Sejon getting aggressive, looking for a pick back.
There's this Wettables kill as he pops
on
up.
site.
Oh, wow. Poor ACOG. Yeah, Tuhan maybe thinking that he had the trap on ACOG over towards default, but Ned had him covered. And fortunately for Outlast, they convert the round into their first attacking round win, up 4-3. Well, there's something brewing here on Consulate, Vinny. That's the question as we head to basement. Certainly a vulnerable-looking GAIMIN GLADIATORS, by no means impervious to taking some round losses, but they go into the clash now. Does sort of emphasize to me that they are really taking this seriously. They're going to do everything they can to try and win this out. How does the clash change things now in basement?
Yeah, definitely for denial of entry, I think, going in towards yellow stairs. I'm not sure where Fisher Guy's going to set up here. A little bit interesting. The mirror facing the back as well. I think they're pretty aware that this is going to be a split push, front and back. Not sure if they're aware based on previous experience watching Outlast, or this is sort of like their default strat, but as you said, I think we should have known from the last map that these games that look like blowouts definitely haven't been.
One interesting stat that has actually developed now is that the last 5 rounds in a row, GAIMIN GLADIATORS have got the opening kills. But 2 of those rounds, they haven't actually converted into round wins. So it means for Outlast, like they've been in this position where they're somewhat fighting back at the start of these rounds. They're not quite getting like these, you know, super lucky spawn peaks or entry kills that are opening things up. So GG actually getting good start to rounds. But it's credit to Outlast that they're actually having the perseverance and the resilience to just keep fighting through and finding little moments. It's been a really fascinating game to watch. Clutch drones out this round with the Brava pick from Relays. Over towards the yellow side of the map with that at the moment. Could certainly get a couple of defaults and look to maybe get those Kaid claws. Clash, electrical. So backside at the moment. Logic Bomb out early from Ned. First of 2. Drone also to get some information.
Yeah, Fisher Guy looks like he's going to be babysitting that backside.
Oh, you just saw him. Oh, Yentai. I don't think he was expecting someone to be just sitting down below. That's Brendo in Cafe.
And a lot of map control given up by GG. They have all of this control, able to, with the ram, as much vert as they need onto the site.
The auto breach is doing quite a lot of work over towards Expo. Piano. Mainly over towards breach. 90 seconds left. GG, I think, are almost just playing for this on-site defense and hoping that the clash will be almost like that final hurdle, that final barrier that it's like, okay, we'll give you top 4, we'll give you breach, but can you deal with the clash? Although the clash can't be in 2 places at one time, and that means that over towards electrical, it's been opened up and they can actually push through. You see the Klodge ahead, droning, and it does mean you've got to pick your poison here if you're Fisher. Where do you hold down with the clash?
It looks like he's going to set up on the yellow side, but in saying that, Kaid and Tuber out on the board. Basically every external wall open now.
Still got 6 drones as well. There's a lot of information being acquired for Outlast. They haven't dealt with the mirror and they haven't dealt with the clash. Certainly still a couple of hurdles on site. Smoke. Well, that's one way to temporarily deal with the mirror window. Logic Bomb goes out. Are we seeing a hit With 35 seconds, that's a wild Nitrocell. No real information, but Sage gets the kill onto Bailey. He just anticipated off Game Sense that they would push off that smoke. 2 kills found from Sage. Once a young gunner, now a veteran of the scene, and he still stands tall, and his brother gets involved. And this round is over from what seemingly looked like a passive defense from GAIMIN Gladiators. They just flicked the switch at the end of the round. When it came time to hit sight, Outlast had no chance. Locked down completely by Sage and Co.
Really just the mirror, I think, was the difference in that round. I didn't think that was going to have such a massive impact. We saw the Cade and the 2 route on the board, all external walls open, hatches open, as much vert as you could need, and still unable to clear out these power positions. This smoke temporarily stopping the vision from the mirror, but Sage unable to hit the C4, and then a really nice shot here onto relays, completely taken out of the round.
There's every chance that, you know, the timing of the Nitrocell there, he throws it too late. Player gets into the hallway, then kills Sage. Sage doesn't get a double kill. That opens up maybe that push for Outlast. Unfortunately, it just keeps with this trend now. 6 rounds in a row that we're seeing GAIMIN Gladiators get these opening kills. And it's just meaning that for Outlast, they're having to do more work. They're playing from behind. They can't open up this defense and really then facilitate these pushes easier. Having to do it the hard way. 4-4 now. And then I think this is where you've got to be careful as a team, because then it's very easy to just be like, oh, we're going to try and hit them really hard. So we're going to bring the Amaro, we're going to bring the Ying, we're just going to go in fast. But GG will be ready for that.
Yeah, they will be. They're ready for everything. That's the problem. They are ready for most things. They've played this map hundreds of times. And
they do get off the Amaru, though, as I mentioned it, so
probably the right decision.
Yeah, I like the Norkira as well.
Yeah, it forces a lot of pressure onto the defenders. Obviously, they're aware that Pulse is on the board, so possibly looking to lurk downstairs onto him.
Kill him. Oh, Tui gets those 6-7 times out of 10.
He does, but he also has been the victim of that spawn peak, I think, in the Supernova game. Bappen peaked it every single round, irregardless of the result. And yeah, we're back into this middle floor bomb site. Looking to take control of top floor here from Outlast.
So all tied up. So far, Outlast doing an incredible job against this top team. Fortunately, not too much pressure in the sense that they're not going to be a bottom 2 team or anything like that. They have confirmed playoffs, but they're up to this game clearly, and the challenge is there to see if they can get some points.
Yeah, those first 3 play days proving pretty valuable in their late season charge for playoffs.
It's not often you see someone from GG go for a bit of a dry peak like that. Tuhan actually gives him something to look at and shoot at. A couple of drones will get shot, down to 5 remaining for Outlast. And again, another slow approach for them. Not easy to get into the building when Tui is essentially playing every window.
Yeah, well, we mentioned for Outlast it was important for them to ask questions of GG. But
have they got him pinched here, though? This is good hallway position. He might not be aware that he's going to just go down yellow. Oh, Tuhan is just going to get away. Yeah, well, I think they tried hunting him top floor, and he has been able to sneak out. Still top floor control now for Outlast. They can get the Boogie Auto breaches in through meeting. They've got to start finding opening picks. There's a foot found, looking for an angle. Indeed, Sage stays standing for too long. Yentai eventually finds the angle and gets the kill. Opening kill for Outlast for the first time since the 2nd round.
Yeah, and that's huge for them because they wasted a fair bit of time trying to hunt down Tuhan. Obviously, able to escape with his life. Relays will find one more onto Wettables.
Fisho, well, apparently he's a frag now. Out main entrance, gets rid of Bailey on the ace. Net, though, gets rid of Fisho. Yentai, some good shots, and down to Tuhan and Brendo in the 2 versus 4. We certainly will not be counting these guys out, and Relay's caught in the back. Shots fired over towards bot spiral now. Tuhan has got a good position on this vigil. This is not going to be easy for Outlast to actually close this round out. They've got some work to do.
There was 2 players I wanted in 2v4. It'd definitely be Brendo and Tuhan. 2 top performers for GG this stage. 2 of the best gunners we have in this region. Brendo holding this piano position. We'll be able to take out the drone. And he's aware now of this Grim's position.
Pre-fire! It's all over the place, but Brendo eventually lands it onto ACOG, and now down to a 2 versus 2. Make it 1v1! With 6 seconds remaining, Yentai doesn't have the diffuser. Ned had it, and now he's lost it. And this round has been lost for Outlast. GG, hold on.
Wow.
Oh no.
Wow, Xenox.
A capitulation. Outlast from 5-3 up, from 4-2 up. Cannot close it out against GAIMIN Gladiators. Credit to Brendo and Tuhan.
I said if there was anyone in a 2v4 I'd want, it's Brendo and Tuhan.
You were right.
Just showing the way they know how to play, and playing together they are quite strong. So, I mean, a great round from Outlast, honestly. They'll be very disappointed in the way that round ended. Able to do a lot in that top floor and clearing. From there, just weren't able to get on the same page for this execute. Brendo and Tuhan picking the perfect times to get aggressive and get these picks back.
I think the word you said there, aggressive though, right? A lot of other players as a 2v4 or 2vx are kind of like sitting, holding angles, they're waiting for that push. These guys are like on the get-go. They're moving around. They know where these guys are, what they can play off of, and they've done that so well. And Outlast are, ironically, with the more numbers in the server, they're the ones getting hunted.
They are, and that's the only way to play it around like that when you're in a 2v4. Obviously, you need to isolate players as quickly as possible. If you allow them to get set up for the execute, it's only going to spell an attacking win. We've got a timeout requested here by Outlast.
A little bit late. We will get at the conclusion of this round. Win or lose. Brendo double digits now. Tuhan 8-4. He had a somewhat slow start for his standards, but he's been able to pick it up and having an amazing game. You can clearly see the synergy for these guys who have played before long time ago. This is an easy peek for Brendo from balcony. Relays has just copped one there, and that's your hard breach gone. Although luckily they got two others with the Maverick and the Ace. Still not ideal to lose Relays, who is unfortunately struggling a little bit in this matchup. Vinny, who's had a great stage so far, but in this game in particular, hasn't really been able to get going.
He hasn't, and the Habana off the board first is going to be quite a problem, obviously, for getting these hatches on the middle floor. Getting these sight lines into the basement. ACOG able to start mavericking this wall, looking for it to make a rotate, but getting pressured from the Visa windows. We'll finally get that rotate done. Still a lot of presence top floor from the attackers. Already a minute gone.
You could see before when we had Tuhan on camera, just the amount of comms and just talking and just pretty much calling out what he has in front of him. Sage.
Yeah, just starting to feel the pressure here on the defense, but looks like they're going for this back push once again. Obviously, did not work last time they attempted this. Tuhan will find a second one onto Ned. ACOG is still top floor. Trying to get this hatch open now. Tuhan's going to look for an early flank. Looks like a C4's been prepped for that hatch drop.
Outlast pull something out of the hat. Pre-placed Nitrocell. Still holding towards vending right now. Tuhan, who has not been cleared. And a pretty split-looking push as well from Outlast. In towards Electrical on the pulse. Wettable, Sage. They can double down together. Wet with the Nitrocell connects onto Bailey. Even though Bailey did get the kill onto Sage. And the Yentai remains.
Yeah, just defaulting to this back push once again. GG very ready for it. Walking down into the meat grinder in the end there. And Wettables will finish off the round. A great round from GG.
They almost lull you into this sense of like, we can beat them. You know, like they're not playing amazing. We're getting rounds. Guys, it's going great. And I know we haven't had any comms from Outlast as they have got, of course, the tactical timeout coming, but you just wonder where they were at as a team. That attacking round to start the second half. I felt like, oh, maybe something could happen here, but it's the GG way to then just kind of fire back and just be ruthless.
Yeah, we look back at that border match against Prodigy when they were 5-1 down. We thought this could be it. This could be the team that takes them down. And ended up coming back and winning 7-5, I think, in the end on their own attacks.
It's been an intriguing stage for Outlast, and I think, look, the consensus is they're probably going to lose this game from here. I don't think that anyone really would debate that against GAIMIN Gladiators, but they've shown enough in this game. And they've shown enough, I think, throughout this stage going into the playoffs. I know, of course, there's one more play day, that for a team that's still relatively new, obviously we've got some names that we've seen before in previous stages, some that we haven't. But I think if you know, and it's always the adage when it comes to OCE, if you just stick together, keep practicing, keep improving as a team, it's going to happen. You can't just keep making these roster changes, though, every stage and then expecting, and then you just, you know, a year from now, we're going to have 2 players from this team still remaining, and it's like, well, you've lost all that progress. So I think there's something there that they can actually work with, stick with, and there's a good roster that could certainly be built.
100%, and I think the most obvious way of seeing just how much of an impact those roster moves makes are on the attacks. I think this stage, the most important thing has been the teams that can attack are really starting to climb the climb the leaderboard. We saw Prodigy making their way up now. Antic is starting to really bring back that attacking win rate, and they're starting to climb. And unfortunately, it's teams like Supernova, Circular Spheres, Odium, really struggling on those attacks that haven't really been able to make much of an impact this stage.
It's always the kind of difficult conversation, right? Because at some point, sometimes you do have to make some changes, right? So there's always that difficult conversation. I think it's just sometimes about understanding, are we making the right change, or are we just making a change for the sake of change?
Yeah, and you can fall into that trap as well, especially if you feel like as a team you're starting to plateau and you're just kind of going through the motions, you're scrimming, it doesn't seem like things are getting better, or if things are getting better, it doesn't seem like they're moving at a rate as a team that you want to be moving at. So changes may need to be made, but in saying that, there are other factors that can contribute to it. Maybe getting some better coaching.
Yeah.
Maybe changing up your playstyle a little bit, changing up the roles.
Change your habits, change the way you scrim, or mindset, mentality. Yeah, lots of ways.
So many things.
As we head into this match point round for Gaming Gladiators, up 64, 2 opportunities to collect all 3 points once again for this stage. Wouldn't be the first time. Sometimes we do see the Amaro here, but it doesn't always necessarily mean swift entry. You can see it play through the hatch. Right now, ACOG on the rappel with the Grim, somewhat similar to that Fisher guy role that we saw in the first half. Relays does have the diffuser though.
Yeah, Ned taking up this position in piano. This is a very similar attack to what we saw from GG. It looks like they're going for the CEO push, trying to clear out this side of the map and then going for a plant in CEO, possibly not on those holes, but a little bit deeper. Ned's going to drone out the rest of his bottom floor just to check his flanks. Looks like he'll start getting to work on this CEO vertical. Two Hun's got a punch hole here. I don't know if Ned's heard that. Looks like he is quite aware that Two Hun's there, but they're going to get the lion ping. And not the kill on the smoke.
Oh, he was reloading underneath the broken floorboard. That's going to be the end of Ned, the end of the buck, and end of maybe some of that vert pressure. Certainly Two Han was, of course, loitering around the area. He can actually now move off and get further map control. Once again, another opening kill for Gaming Gladiators. It has been such a significant trend here on Consular. Outlast, outside of those opening 2 rounds, only one other time. 3 in total, and comes back to this hole to play off.
Yeah, just continuing to put the pressure on here. He doesn't have to do anything rash, as long as he just sits down here and continues to pester these players. Just makes it tough for the attackers to know where they want to set up this plan. It looks like they're still moving towards that CEO side, but clearing out Fisher guy here with the smoke is going to be very tough.
Yeah, and look at the health as well for Yentai. Relays, they're not exactly fit and ready to go. Brendo will get the kill on to Bailey, one of their more higher HP members. He's gone, and now Yentai Relays with 65 health combined. 35 seconds remaining. Let's be honest, in this match now. A 3v5, very difficult for Outlast to bring this back. Relays is going to have to send it up yellow, hope for the best, get some dry peek headshots and just frag out and see if that will be enough. ACOG, good kill, but Relays lost his life. That's kit down over towards top yellow. Yentai has to salvage it. It's another 1v4. This one's done. Vinny, it's been a pleasure for Gaming Gladiators once again, teaching a team a lesson here in Oceania.
Yeah, I knew I was casting this game from last night and I thought we once knew them as Bliss. They've become the Gaming Gladiators, but this stage they're the Gaming Goliaths. And no one's taken them down yet.
The Gaming Goliaths from Vincier. I know full well that Mr. Monday will be loving that one on the couch. You probably gave him a heads up. You're going to say that, you cheeky bugger. What a game. GG. I mean, there was certainly a little bit of promise there towards the middle portion of the game where it was like 4-3, that opening attacking round for Outlast gave us some hope that maybe we could get something special, not to be. Good signs, though, for Outlast. I think that's always the kind of takeaway when we play these GG matches, right? It's like, what can their opponent do in the game? Can they make it close? Is it a stomp? Any final thoughts from you, Vinny?